Why do elections always keep us on the edge of our seats? It's because they shape the future of our country, determining the policies and leadership that will guide us for the next 4 years. The 2024 election has been no different, with emotions running high and stakes even higher. Donald Trump secured the 2024 presidential election, and his return brings major policy changes. His victory has been celebrated by his supporters, who believe that his leadership will bring about the necessary reforms to make America great again. Trump vows to seal the southern border and launch one of the largest deportation operations in US history, tightening visa restrictions, especially for those he deems radical or anti-American. Let's dive into what's coming. The next 4 years under Trump's administration will be marked by significant shifts in various sectors, from immigration to economic policies, and from energy independence to education reforms. First up, immigration and border security. This has always been a cornerstone of Trump's political agenda, and his second term will see an even more aggressive approach. This will involve increased funding for border security, the construction of additional barriers, and the deployment of more immigration enforcement agents. Next, economic policies and trade. Trump's economic strategy will focus on protecting American jobs and industries, with a particular emphasis on reducing the trade deficits and promoting domestic manufacturing. Expect new tariffs on imports, especially from China, to boost US manufacturing. These tariffs are intended to make foreign goods more expensive, thereby encouraging consumers to buy American-made products. Additionally, Trump plans to renegotiate trade deals to ensure they are more favorable to the US. Trump also promises tax cuts for workers and an end to taxes on tips and Social Security. These measures are aimed at increasing disposable income for American families and stimulating economic growth. The tax cuts will be targeted at middle and lower income earners, providing them with much-needed financial relief. Energy independence is back on the agenda. Trump aims to restore US dominance in energy production by rolling back environmental regulations and pushing fossil fuels, reversing electric vehicle mandates. This will involve expanding drilling operations, increasing coal production, and investing in new oil pipelines. However, this approach is likely to face significant opposition from environmental groups and advocates of renewable energy. In education, Trump plans to cut federal funding for schools teaching critical race theory or radical gender ideology. This policy is part of a broader effort to promote what he calls patriotic education, which emphasizes traditional American values and history. He also intends to restrict transgender participation in women's sports. This controversial policy is aimed at ensuring what Trump describes as fair competition in women's athletics, but it has been met with strong opposition from LGBTQ+ advocacy groups. Foreign policy and defense will see a strong stance. Trump's approach to foreign policy will be characterized by a focus on national security and a willingness to take bold actions to protect American interests. Trump proposes a nationwide missile defense system and plans to label Mexican drug cartels as terrorist organizations, potentially reshaping US-Mexico relations. This move is intended to combat the flow of illegal drugs into the US and to disrupt the operations of powerful criminal organizations. On social programs, Trump promises no cuts to Social Security and Medicare, ensuring that these vital programs remain intact for the millions of Americans who rely on them, and suggests a fund for victims of crimes linked to immigration issues. This fund would provide financial assistance and support services to individuals and families affected by crimes committed by undocumented immigrants. Trump aims to limit the reach of federal agencies he views as politicized, addressing what he calls the weaponization of government. This will involve reducing the power and influence of certain federal agencies, increasing oversight, and implementing reforms to ensure greater accountability. Donald Trump has expressed strong opposition to Nicolás Maduro, labeling him as a dictator and pledging support for the Venezuelan people seeking freedom. He plans to increase pressure on Maduro's regime, signaling that his administration would stand with the Venezuelan opposition and potentially impose additional sanctions or take diplomatic action to address human rights abuses in the country. This stance reflects Trump's past policy of rejecting Maduro's leadership and supporting democratic efforts in Venezuela. Trump's return signals significant shifts in policy and governance. His administration will be marked by a focus on strong leadership, decisive action, and a commitment to his core principles. Stay informed and engaged, because these changes will impact us all. If you like the content, hit the follow button.